Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and I am back with another emergency card kit. If you're new to my channel, an emergency card is one where we make the cards ahead of time, but we leave the sentiments off. That way, when an occasion arises, we can choose the card that best fits the recipient and the sentiment that best fits the occasion. To help you with this, I release a free printable kit on the first and third Friday of every month, full of free sentiments and a card sketch to help you build your stash. Let's take a look at the kit. We have our first Christmas kit, holiday kit of the season. Usually there's two, or at least two. I do one early for those of us who make a ton of Christmas cards and get an early start, and then I'll do one later in the fall when many of us are more emotionally prepared for the, the upcoming holidays. So we have Merry Christmas and Happy Wishes from our family to yours. Merry Christmas and Happy Wishes from my home to yours. Have a jolly holiday. Season's greetings, wishing you peace and joy. Let's put the jolly in the holly. Holiday greetings. Merry Christmas. And then that just goes all the way around. It is ever so slightly smaller than our 1 3/4 inch circle. So you can stamp in there or put a die cut image in there. I'm really excited about these two. And then that's the same. It says Happy Holidays. Brown paper packages tied up with string. Wishing you all the joys of the season. Warmest holiday wishes. May your days be merry and your heart be light. Wishing you the gift of family this season. Tweet holiday wishes. Wishing you a holiday of as much family as you actually want. Dashing through the no. So each month I've been coming out with like 2 kits early on. And honestly, friends, that's a lot. That's a lot for me. And so I was really pleased that I had already planned on a Christmas and July kit this month. And then the Spellbinders Club kits that come out tomorrow on the 6th also have that sort of Christmassy holiday theme. So this kit is doing double duty. It's like our regular kit and our Spellbinders kit. And I love that we can get tons of use out of it. This first page, that black circle prints just a little bit bigger than 1 3/4 inch. So on the second page, you have the same sentiments, but without that printed circle. So if you want to use a different size circle or a different shape die, this page is perfect for that. The next page has those same sentiments, but in a rectangle fonts. And so you're just connecting the tick lines, going up, don't go all the way through, right? Stop kind of here, and then rotate and connect the tick marks on the side, and you'll get a perfect rectangle for your sentiments. We've added just a few fonts, but really kind of the same sentiments in here as well. Our strip sentiments come in 4 fonts, and so we have sort of our whimsical fonts here. Some of these are a little long, and they come on 2 lines. You can cut them separately, or you can cut and skip one of those tick marks, and then it's just a 1/2 inch instead of a 1/4 inch, and that works beautifully as well. There is another sentiment on here that says dashing through the snow because I had a little extra room. And then we are back to our regularly scheduled scripty font, and then a classic serif font that I really, really love. Coming up, I am finishing up this week a kit for weddings and anniversaries. So if you have any last minute requests for that, go ahead and put them in the comments. And then I'm still determining what we're going to do for August. So here's the graphic again that we were looking at last time that has tons of different options for you. I'm wondering which of these you are most excited about. And if you have ideas for sentiments or puns or anything like that to go with them, go ahead and add those in the comments as well. Additionally, if you have any other Christmas or holiday sentiments that you would like to see, I would love to hear about it. There will be at least one more free kit on my channel, but I'm teaching at a free event coming up. I can't tell you anything else about it yet, but there will be an exclusive kit, free kit, but exclusive to that event. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be one of the bigger kits that I release. If you enjoy card sketches and free printables are helpful for you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified every time that there's a new free kit. All right, now let's go ahead and make some cards. So I am starting following the sketch very closely. That dark gray layer that I have in blue is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and I'm going to add that straight onto my card base. Then I have these 3 pink layers that are 1¼ by 5¼ I like to start on the sides. And if you make it so the margin is the same on the top and bottom and on the left, it will be perfect. I'm going to do the same thing on the right hand side. And then when I go to add that third piece, it lines up in the middle and will again have the same margins. So this works out really well. I find it easiest to leave that center piece for last. Then I have these two pieces that will nest on top of each other. The purple layer is 4¼ by 2¾ and again, this sounds fast. There is a free printable with all of those instructions. And if you print that at 100%, which is the default for my printer, the sketch on the printable will be exactly A2 sized. That top layer is a shimmer white cardstock and it is 4 by 2½. And I have glued that about 1/2 inch from what is the top on the card sketch. I'm assembling a bow right now. It's from the Holly Jolly Gnome. This is sold out at Spellbinders. They don't have it anymore, but a lot of the other stores, like the big stores, still have it, and a lot of them have it on clearance. So if you're interested, you certainly could still get this, but you could put anything here, right? I thought about grabbing one of the Gnome Drive gnomes and having them like peek out from behind the sentiment, or you could use the gnome from Holly Jolly Gnome. I thought about adding the Christmas tree from the Christmas wreath add-on that is absolutely gorgeous, or the bow from that one. Use what you have, right? This is really about showing you the sketch and giving you some inspiration. On this bow, a couple of the pieces fall out when the die cuts, so I have just colored those a little darker and put tape behind it to fit those back in. For my sentiments, I am connecting the tick marks on the bottom to the tick marks on the top, but I didn't go all the way through. I want to keep that top connected so I have flaps, and I can use the tick marks on the side to make sure that my measurements are right. These sentiments will cut out at 1¼ by 2¼ This one says, wishing you a holiday of as much family as you actually want. I know some of us need that. And I will put that onto my mat that's 1½ by 2½. And that finishes card number 1. Card number 2, my friends, this one surprised me. I am using a new 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders that has this great geometric pattern. It's called the Argyle Plaid, and it is just gorgeous. Like, look at that. I will say it's a very deep emboss, so I wet that with a baby wipe first. And then I did a second panel. I've trimmed 1/8 inch on each side, and I am going to cut my strips that are 1¼ by 5¼ but I want to keep the pattern the same as on the first panel. When I lined up the second one in the folder, I made sure it was in the exact same spot. So I removed that 1/8 inch from each side, and I cut the left and right sides first. Then on this center piece, I need to remove 1/8 inch from either side. So I kind of drew pencil lines on it just to help me remember which sections need to be removed. Then I cut 6 strips out of that same heavyweight black cardstock. You guys, it's just the stuff from Michael's. I find it to be pretty cost effective and a pretty dark black compared to a lot of the major brands. Then I am stacking these up. You could use foam tape here, but I didn't have black foam tape thin enough. I tried gluing these just straight onto the panel, but they sort of sandwich in there, and then it doesn't really matter that you cut a separate layer. It just looks kind of funky instead of looking like this really great lifted element. So I'll do the left side and then the right side and then the center, but honestly, I'm just lining up the pattern. On camera, there's enough shadow, it's hard to see that the pattern lines up, but in person, it is awesome. I'm in love with this. I have a black layer that follows the sketch, and then the gold layer follows the sketch. I am going to lift that gold layer just like some of the other pieces with a little bit of black cardstock. And then I have an extra layer on here. I wanted that tiny little border, that tiny pop of gold going all the way around. So that top layer I cut at 3 7/8 by 2 3/8, but you obviously don't have to do that if you're not a big fan of 1/8 inches. I have 2 separate dies for poinsettias. One comes from the small die of the month that I just had kind of out, but this other one is from the Christmas Bird Poinsettia, and it's a little bit bigger. I liked that size. And then I'm going to grab just one layer from the smaller one to give this a ton of volume. This is already a heavy card, right? I'm using cardstock instead of foam to lift things. She's thick, so I don't really care about dimension. I'm going to hand deliver that. I'm using page 2 of my printables and the mirrored arch labels from Spellbinders to cut out not just a plain old circle. And I'm going to tape that into place. I have a large die cutting machine, so I don't need to cut my paper to do that, but certainly you could just trim around it and then die cut it out. I layered it onto the next largest in gold, but it was too much, right? I wanted a little pop of black in there. So I cut one in black, the same size as the sentiment. And I am gonna just glue that onto either side. You can't really see the black at the top, but it gives me a margin that's closer to what we have on the other bits of gold. And it just, I don't know, gives another layer. I really like how that turned out. I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing things down and then realize things like, oh, hey, you forgot to glue down the rectangle panel, and also it's not on a card base, but we'll get there. We'll get there. It's gonna be great. So I'm gluing that again, about a ½ inch from the top. Just eyeball it, right? Not a big deal. And then I will glue down my poinsettia only in the center. And I'm going to use removable adhesive to add my sentiment in case I want to change things later. I certainly could recut all the layers, or I could just recut the sentiment and glue it right on top of the one that's there. There's so much dimension on this, I don't think that that would look odd. I added a dot of glue and then let it get tacky first before I added 3 gold pearls right to the center. I'm adding some glue onto my card base, and then I will add my panel and my friends. That finishes up what is maybe my favorite Christmas card I have ever made. Warmest holiday wishes. It has tons of texture, just those little pops of gold. I am so pleased with this one. All right, my friends, those are our 2 projects for today. I would love to know which of these 2 is your favorite. If you are interested in the free printable kit, all I ask is that you subscribe to my channel, and if you ring the bell, you'll be notified every time there's a new free kit. Then you can click on more or show more below the video to unpack the description box and find all the details you need. I hope you'll join me for another video tomorrow where we use this kit in coordination with the Spellbinders Club kits for the month. But as you can see, you can mix and match this with many products you probably already have. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.